Yes, yes, y'all. That is Relic right there off the album Golden. Hitting you with them tunes, and we got him on the phone now. What's up, Relic?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, Robbie?
Very good, very, very good. How are you?
I'm great, man. Can't complain. Staying busy as usual. Doing my thing.
Yes, yes. Always grinding, always on the go. I know.
Yeah, you're a guy that knows about that.
Yes, the hustle. This industry, it feels like there's always something to do.
Yeah, there is, and it usually isn't music.
I know, eh? Isn't that annoying? Isn't that so annoying? All you want to do as an artist is just create and make music, do what you love, and you're stuck a lot of the times having to deal with everything else that surrounds it.
Yeah, I think it's for anybody who's listening who's an artist, I think it's a pretty good measuring stick for yourself in terms of how well you're doing as an artist. Because as soon as you realize that you're not, you're spending way more time doing the business side than you are the making of music side of things. You've sort of, you've climbed out of the place where it's just a hobby and it's a job. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I feel that transition, but always in the back of my mind, I'm like, I wish I could just get together with my friends and rap all day long. We just pump out song after song after song after song, and now I feel like getting those songs done is such a more grueling process, and it's like getting the beat from the producer and the track files, and it seems like so much more of a longer process now getting a song complete than it was before.
Yeah. And I guess there are those people that are lucky enough to have a team that's taking care of most of the business aspect for them, and so they're able to actually focus on making music and stuff. And then, like in one of the last interviews that I did, I just sort of mentioned Linkin Park. I'm not a huge follower of theirs at all, but I read something about them and how many songs they had actually made, just to get a single album done, and it was more than 100. Mm-hmm. And that so it wouldn't it be nice to have that kind of time where you could really just pour into your music so that you could give people the best of you instead of running at it and trying your very best to make everything work together, and then the music is just sort of secondary.
Yeah, big time. Mm. It's hard, man. It's hard, and bands like Linkin Park, they've risen to that point where they definitely do have those business people behind the scenes booking their shows for them and taking care of all of the paperwork, so they can spend a little bit more time focusing on the music. But as they started, I'm sure they were just in the position of any artist, just like me and you when we started, just like in their garage or whatever, just making songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It's funny to imagine these huge artists that were sort of grinding away, doing as much as they could to make their music, and I don't know what it is that happens to them. Like I used to think it was all this right time, right place sort of thing, and miracles happen for people, but this is really not it. I think the people that work the hardest, regardless of their talent, end up getting a little further ahead than the average Joe, who's the most talented guy who just sits in his basement and never really gets out there and does anything. You know what I'm saying?
100%. 100%.
And I've been both of those people too, so that's why I can comment on it.
For sure. I remember, I sometimes, I hate on Southern rappers and stuff, and that simple lyrics kind of rap, because it's not, what I'm used to, which is the New York boom bap style where there's a message involved and everything like that. But I was watching some documentaries that Noisy put out on Chirac, which is Chicago and the trap scene in Chicago, and then also in Atlanta, and the underground trap scene there, and everything, the Gucci Manes and Chief Keef and Migos and that kind of stuff. And I was honestly impressed after watching it all, because all they do all day is just live like that life of just in the booth. They're recording every single day, and then they're out at the club at night promoting it at the clubs, or just being out there in front of the people and stuff like that. And it's like every single day, nonstop, 24 hours of the day, all they're doing is living and breathing their music and getting it out to people. And there are a lot of people that are just sitting in their basements hoping that they're going to pop off, whereas there's people that are out there actually doing it because they're just they've got nothing better to do, and they're just, this is what we're doing all day, every day.
Yeah. It's funny, man. It seems like that's a little bit of a pocket, like a little bit of a bubble, where these guys are able to, and of course there's, that there's some other side hustles going on that are helping them float, especially the guys who aren't signed to majors and don't have massive, like they don't have massive money like that's been given to them that they got to recoup or whatever. So, like, I think it's funny because I've seen like the side of things where it's just like touring all the time, and that's great, but it doesn't really work as well as it could unless you're at home, spending the time learning about like the marketing side of it and what you can do to make sure that those tours that you're going on are really going to be beneficial. And then when you go back out again after taking that time, you have more of a mindset of when you're going there, it's work, you know what I mean? And we have hella fun, you know what it is, man, the shows and stuff, like we have a really good time, man, but at the, in the core of my mind is it's business, man. And I gotta do my very best to keep that the mindset with me when I'm in those places so that I can make the best of those shows, the opportunities, because we're all getting older, and you know what I'm saying, like, and time is ticking away. So, so when I go into the place, for me, like, for example, one of the main things that I am focused on and when I'm going to do these shows is just like meeting people and getting in touch with them and collecting email addresses and that sort of thing, so I can keep in touch with those people so that they can know what's going on with me. You know what I'm saying? So otherwise, how else? And that's one of the best marketing tools that some people like us that are independent artists can really use, man. And it took a lot of convincing for me before I believed that. But I did tour after tour and wasn't collecting email addresses, and then I was going back to places, and then I was hearing back from people like, "Hey, why didn't you tell me you were coming?" Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh, well, I've got it. That's the only way to do it, man." And it's not a spam thing. It's a friend thing, really. It's a relationship thing that you build with people. And of course, you don't necessarily remember everybody's name or whatever it is, but I don't know, man. I think music is a personal thing. It's keeping personally in touch with people is the best way to, to keep your stuff alive.
It's important for sure. And I think while you're out on tour and doing your thing, like what you're doing, marketing and learning that stuff that you could be doing back at home while you're on the road is also key as well. Like talking to people, learning different tricks that they're doing, different artists that you're seeing, like in all different parts of the world. Different things work in different places, and artists have ideas, and as long as you're open to those ideas and seeing them, and when you're around artists on tour, some artists can spend the whole day like, on Twitter or on Facebook or just like, playing around or doing nothing, and then you see other artists. I was on tour with DubFX last year, and like the time that they're not on the stage performing, they're on their emails, answering emails, booking shows, doing this and that, checking out submissions, reviewing this, reviewing that, you know what I mean? Like doing so much stuff behind the scenes that make them successful and make their tours so big is because they're doing so much work, in between the performance time, even while they're on tour. And I think that's so key to do that even while you're on the road. How do you find like the way to juggle that balance between being really, really tired and not wanting to do anything after traveling city to city, and then actually getting the time to spend on stuff like that?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like of course people know of my buddy Fresh Kills, and he has been instrumental. When we first met, was very instrumental in showing me that aspect of it. And I don't even know if he really knows that, but I went on the first tour, not the first tour I ever did, but one of the first real tours that I did where things were sort of organized and we were playing decent shows and stuff was with him and Uncle Fester, the Extremities, and my buddy Ambition. And we went on that tour, and I noticed that, I'm sitting there just kicking it, listening to music or writing raps or whatever it was I was doing, and I noticed that these guys are, like him and Ghetto Socks and all those guys are there on their computers, like typing away, and that to me, like, 4 or 5 years ago, or whatever now, but that to me was like a learning thing for me. That I was like, yo, these guys are really working. These guys are really working at this. And then I'm like, okay, I get my computer, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know what? Asking those questions is even to yourself is the way to start figuring out, like, how to make things, move for yourself, man. And then realize that these guys had, over time, you got to spend time with people that are going to be, valuable to helping you learn these sorts of things. You know what I mean? If you're hanging around with a whole bunch of people that are just, yeah, we're the dopest. Look at my dope rhymes and my dope beats, and then there's no business side to it at all. You need to get away from those people and find some people that are really going to encourage you to make a run of it, because it really is the DIY age, man. It really is a time when people, when artists need to stop thinking the pie in the sky thing about getting signed to this record label or that record label. It still happens, and it's still a possibility, but it's really not something that we should focus on, because we're just losing traction as long as we're focused on that sort of stuff, and being self-sufficient as much as possible for every artist or every group is the name of the game. So know as much as you can, and keep, and just be resilient, man. Things are going to knock you down over and over and over again. You just got to keep on getting back up and going.
That's what's up. That's that Rocky mentality.
Yeah, that's it.
Definitely. You gotta maintain and keep going, under pressure, all that good stuff. Word up. I wanted to ask you though, because you stay completely out of like rap beefs and that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? There's so many people that get caught up, and I was watching this thing recently where this person was basically saying that beef is a broke man's game, and people that are actually out there getting money and doing their thing and booking shows and staying consistent and grinding aren't really getting caught up in all that beef kind of stuff. What is your opinion on that sort of side of the game, and like rappers getting into feuds with other rappers and stuff like that? Whereas like I never see you ever getting involved. You seem like such a positive guy. The music that you make is really positive and stuff, and I never see you getting caught up in that kind of energy.
Yeah, well, you know what? That kind of energy is always around. It's always present. There's always something that you're going to come up against that's going to be frustrating, or that's going to be, or you feel like someone has wronged you, or you feel like, there's always that sort of thing happening. And after a little while, you sort of, I think, like the average person will realize, like, this is not worth my time. I've spent so much time and effort. Like I'll give you a really good example.
Yes.
I pressed CDs through a CD manufacturing company, and I don't need to name who they are, but they did me so wrong. And you know what? I had planned to do a campaign against their company to stop them ever doing what they did to me to other artists.
Yeah,
it's very unfair. And I didn't get. Basically, at the end of the day, I didn't get what I wanted, and they just wouldn't budge, and they were really not nice. And so basically what you need to do is what I call hardlining. If you end up in a corner where these people are not helping you out, you need to either go straight through them or turn and go directly to the next source and just keep it moving, because there's just not enough time for me to sit down. It's not even really enough time for me to sit down on Facebook and say, hey, everybody, don't use this company or whatever. You know what I mean? Don't go to this company. They're terrible or whatever. If I, on a personal like basis, if you and me are sitting here in the studio and you go, hey, where should I get my CDs manufactured? I will tell you, you should probably stay away from these people. I had a bad experience. You know what I mean? But in terms of picking up a banner and waving it around and saying these people suck, it's exactly the same thing that rappers are doing to each other, for this or that reason. And you know what? I can't take away from the legitimacy of some of those beefs. We're human beings, you know what I'm saying, and we all have beef with somebody or somewhere or another. I just think that if you're using it to sort of as a stepping stone to get yourself onto some next level or get more attention or whatever, I just think that you're out of line, and and the greats that like you never see like U2 beefing with like I don't know like Radiohead. You know what I'm saying? Like you never see like a beef like that. You know what I mean? You never see like Adele beefing with I don't know Katie Lang or something. You know what I mean? You don't see like yo, have you heard this new Adele beef with Katie Lang? Yo,
yeah,
it's just not happening. You know why? Because it's a business. And so it really does show the mentality of the people in terms of like where they're at. And you know what? There's people that have a street mentality because that's where they came from. That's all they know. You know what I mean? Like I have a very close friend right now who's in jail, and the reason he's there is because all he knew was how to deal with things with a street mentality, and that sucks for him, man. But that's eventually where it led. It didn't really lead him down a very positive path or to a positive place. And there's a number of people like that out there. But there are also, on the other hand, all kinds of criminals in the music industry, too. So, I don't know. It's, I think that you just got to be you. And I think that if you're out there just being negative, I think you're not only wasting other people's time, I think you're wasting your time, too. And and those people that realize that this is, that this is the music industry. It's not the hip hop industry. Like I think that's a really good place to start, man, and know that it's work, man. It's business, and if you catch feelings too easily, then grow some skin, grow a thick skin and keep it moving.
Grow a thick skin, people. That's the advice right there from Relic. Okay, don't be soft, people. Come on. You can take it. You can take it. But yeah, no, I don't ever see you engaging in any Twitter beefs or anything like that.
I try not to. I got my own personal issues to deal with.
Word up, definitely. Well, man, you've got some new music coming out to the people, so let them know what they can expect, what's coming out.
Yeah, well, I just released a video called "Follow Me." That was from my Golden record. That I know that you have, and so I'm really excited about that video, man. I've been out there sort of pushing it all over the place, and we've been trying to get it to as many places as possible. That being said, I have another video that's coming up on May 1st, all for another song from the Golden record. I won't tell you what it is, but I'll save the surprise. Also have another single coming out that's going to be May 13th. And all this 13 stuff is because the record is actually called The 13th Floor. It's entirely produced by my homie Fresh Kills, which a whole bunch of you people out in Radio Land will know. He's a master on the MPC, super amazing guy, down-to-earth dude, and like really, really kills it live on the MPC. So if you have a chance to check him out, definitely check him out. And I had the amazing opportunity to work with him on a record. And it's taken us a little while to finish, man. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's some good work, and that comes out June the 2nd, and it's going to be available for pre-order towards the middle of May. Boom.
Awesome. Word up. So the new video drops May 1st, and then you've got a new single May 13th.
That's right.
May 13th. People look out for that, and the video is out now for Follow Me.
Mm-hmm. Plus, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of release party shows. I'm just in the middle of figuring out now, and I'll be playing Guelph, man. You're the dude, so thank you for that. I'll be playing Guelph. I wish I had my calendar in front of me. I'll tell you what date it is. You probably remember better than I do.
Oh yeah, Friday, June 12th.
There we go. Boom.
Oh, we know that. And you got some more dates, of course, with Ghetto Socks. One thing I wanted to talk to you about that we didn't get to touch on, recapping a little bit on your last tour. You went out to like west coast of Canada. You were down in, was it Australia, I think?
Yep.
Yeah, and all that. What was that like?
It was amazing, man. We did Australia, Asia, and then Western Canada, and it was a 2-month run, which is as long as I've ever been on the road. Ghetto Socks and I did a 7.5-week run back in May, June of last year, and so this 8-week one was just like, it was like hectic, man. It was a long time away from home, but like lots of great shows and met lots of great people and stuff. And I've never traveled to that end of the world at all before, so it was an all-around crazy experience, and Yeah, man. I hope that I can go back there again sometime, man. But it was definitely worth the time and the effort that we put in, like booking and pulling all those shows together. You know, and like that was literally like 2.5 months of just really concentrating on making those bookings happen and not really doing a whole lot else with my time. It's, as you know, it's a difficult thing to just go into different markets and start making phone calls, and to promoters and venues and artists and whoever it is that you can link up with in order to make things work. And it's like it was a very sleepless time for me, you know. So lots of effort though, lots of work went into it, and it really did end up paying off. And I have a little. I think I started a little following in Australia, which is really cool, man. Like to be that far away and to be connected with people on Facebook and talking back and forth with them and stuff is very cool, man. And they treated me so well, and it's a beautiful country and the people are great. So Japan was also really, really cool. Also another really great place to go. Just really every day I was just walking around over there, and just like I didn't really spend a whole lot of money like on anything other than food and drink, but it was just the experience of being there was pretty overwhelming. And again, like cool shows and great people, and yeah, man, it was good. It was really cool. So I'm gearing up to go back on the road with Mr. Ghetto Socks again, and there'll be more information on my website about how all that's going down. Still getting figured out.
Word up. And that website for the people is?
It's relmccoy.com. It's RELMCCOY.com.
relmccoy.com, and you can check out music on Bandcamp at relic, relic.bandcamp.com, and also iTunes, right? iTunes, any of that?
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. So Facebook, check them out. Relic, man, much respects to you. Working on the next project with you, thanks to your ear, it's going to sound like a masterpiece. So I appreciate everything that you're doing for myself.
Word. Yeah, it's coming along great, man. It's sounding good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Much respects, and we'll definitely connect very soon. And I'm looking forward to your show here in Guelph, Friday, June 12th. People, look out for that. The date and info will be posted online very, very soon.
Word, that's what's up, man. Thanks so much for having me through, man. And yeah, we'll connect soon, bro.
Sounds good, brother. Much respects.
All right, bless, bro.
Peace.